On February 15th, 2025, key global events unfolded, impacting diplomacy, economies, and technology. In a major step towards peace, the United States and Russia have agreed to begin negotiations aimed at ending the prolonged conflict in Ukraine. The talks are set to take place in Saudi Arabia, a neutral venue chosen to reinforce the global commitment to diplomacy. With tensions high and expectations even higher, both nations come to the table under intense international scrutiny. This meeting could mark a turning point, offering a path toward de escalation and regional stability. In the Middle East, Hamas has released 3 Israeli hostages in a significant exchange. In return, over 300 Palestinian prisoners have been freed, one of the largest swaps in recent history. This deal highlights the fragile yet ongoing negotiations between Israel and Hamas. While tensions remain high, both sides have demonstrated a willingness to engage in diplomatic talks amid ongoing ceasefire discussions. President Donald Trump has signed a series of executive orders enacting major policy shifts. One order significantly raises tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, aiming to enforce reciprocal trade policies and protect U.S. industries. While supporters call it a boost for American manufacturing, critics warn of potential trade wars and rising consumer costs. Another order mandates a 10% staff reduction at the CDC, raising concerns about the nation's ability to respond to public health crises. Additionally, Trump has banned federal funding for schools that mandate certain educational content, including critical race theory, sparking debates over curriculum control and educational equity. U.S. credit card debt has reached a record high of $1.21 trillion, driven by holiday spending and persistent inflation. According to the Federal Reserve, household debt grew by $93 billion in the last quarter of 2024, with credit card balances alone surging by $45 billion. This sharp rise raises concerns over potential repayment challenges for many Americans. Experts recommend strategies like debt consolidation, balance transfers, and even debt settlement to manage the growing burden. Meanwhile, rising delinquencies across various debt types highlight the financial strain on households as economic recovery efforts continue. Cocoa prices have surged to a record-breaking $10,000 per ton, driven by a global cocoa deficit, poor weather in West Africa, and crop diseases. This spike has significantly impacted chocolate manufacturers, forcing companies like Hershey and Lindt to raise prices and adjust recipes. With cocoa trading well above long-term averages, the pressure on industry margins is mounting. Consumers may soon face higher prices or even shrinkflation as companies navigate the soaring costs of cocoa. Germany is facing heated debates following U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance's speech at the Munich Security Conference, where he criticized European censorship and immigration policies. Vance argued that Europe is retreating from democratic values and freedom of speech, a claim that sparked strong backlash from German officials. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius condemned the remarks as unacceptable, firmly defending Germany's democratic principles. Concerns are mounting over reports that Russia plans to deploy 3,000 North Korean troops to its Kursk region, escalating geopolitical tensions. The move is seen as an effort to reinforce Russian forces amid the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. This potential deployment has raised alarms about deepening military ties between Russia and North Korea, a shift that could significantly impact the war's dynamics by introducing fresh combatants. The Pentagon is bracing for major defense budget cuts, signaling a shift in U.S. military strategy and funding priorities. Driven by fiscal constraints and political agreements, the reductions are forcing tough choices on key programs, including F-35 fighter jets, submarines, and drones. The focus is shifting toward personnel costs, readiness, and quality of life initiatives, aiming to balance military capabilities with rising inflation and operational expenses. This strategic pivot could emphasize efficiency and modernization as the U.S. adapts to evolving global security challenges with limited resources. At the 2025 Munich Security Conference, Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar strongly defended India's democratic integrity in response to U.S. Senator Elissa Slotkin's critique. Highlighting India's high voter turnout and its nutrition support for 800 million people, Jaishankar directly countered Slotkin's claim that democracy doesn't put food on your table. He also called out Western double standards on democracy, positioning India as a successful model for the global South and urging recognition of non-Western democratic achievements. The U.S. has clarified that NATO membership is not a mandatory outcome of ongoing peace talks or Western support strategies for Ukraine. Amid these discussions, President Volodymyr Zelensky continues engaging with Western leaders to secure military and financial aid. While acknowledging the U.S. stance, Zelensky remains firm on the need for security guarantees and has not ruled out NATO membership, presenting a victory plan that includes such aspirations. His efforts reflect Ukraine's push to navigate the complex geopolitical landscape while ensuring long-term security. That's all for today's top news from February 15th, 2025. Stay tuned for more updates and follow us for the latest headlines. Be sure to check back tomorrow for the most important news from February 16th.